Hey, what's up, pro wrestling fans? Welcome to the Nation's Corner. I am Front Row, joined this week by Debhausen, the Great and Powerful, John in South Jersey, and all the way from Mongrovian, Long Island, Mongrovian Mike. What's up, people?
What up?
What's up?
Viva Las Vegas!
Yes,
Viva!
this afternoon. 2025, baby. WrestleMania is going to Las Vegas. A big step up from the Minnesota that they had rumored.
Who the fuck was going to Minnesota? Anyway.
No.
Not me.
I only go where it's warm.
Philly was a bit of a stretch for you.
We have to reiterate our goals. We do not wait in line. We do not go in cold temperatures.
No.
Well, we battled the cold with a lot of alcohol. It worked out okay, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
My God, there's a ton of shit going on. As every day goes by this week, I was like, okay, we have to talk about that. We have to talk about that. And then all of a sudden, we have a 4-hour show. So we're not doing a 4-hour show tonight.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I want to go get some more whiskey for my coffee.
All right. First, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. I see Marks is in there, enjoying the Las Vegas news. Neil's in there. I see our Brooke is in here. Welcome, Brooke. And a lot more Neil. Neil's very excited about it.
A quick side note: Brooke is joining us from Tampa tonight. She is boarding a plane to Seattle tomorrow, where her and her mother and stepfather are going on an Alaskan cruise. So
nice.
She is going to see Alaska. And you think you freeze up here, young ladies, you're going to die out there. You're going to be bummed, like you're going to be stealing Eskimo skins to keep warm. So enjoy. Have fun. See you when you get back. Love you.
This time last year, my father-in-law went on that very same cruise, and it was 74 the whole time they were up there. I don't
figures
climate change.
Wow.
Who knows?
No, they'll have
Mongrovian Mike's in the chat.
Oh wow!
Here I am. I found you guys on Twitter.
Oh,
you pulling a Rick Rude
with that shocking pink robe.
Love the robe.
Matt, I want to give a shout out while we're at it to my boy Matt OD, over in Jersey there.
Of course.
He brought the robe in. He messaged me, said he had the robe for me, and I just want to give a shout out to him and say thank you very much for wearing it on the show.
Awesome. Yeah, those bad boys are comfy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Even wore it around
a little different these days.
Today.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, while we're doing shout outs, 2 of my own real quick, and I'm going to beat them to it, and I don't care. May the force be with you all.
Got my lightsaber. We're good.
Okay.
Live long and prosper.
Now, Deb, is it true on the back of that shirt it says we have cookies?
It does not, but
that's false.
We do have cookies. So.
Okay. Oh, all right. Long as there's still cookies available, I'll stay. But if not, I was told to be punching pie.
Yeah.
No, I'm not putting the cookie down. You put it down. And my other one, real quick.
I've been waiting to drop that fucking Arnold drop it. God damn, I was waiting to see somebody eating a fucking cookie or talking about cookies or something.
We'll edit it in post. Also, quick shout out. Nation's Corner on location was out and about today. Myself and Mongrovian Mike. Thank you, Mike. We were up in beautiful Morristown, New Jersey at the Menon Sports Arena for Tommy Fierro / ISPW's annual 80s WrestleCon, their 5th annual. Ran into some friends of the nation and friends of the show. Look forward to sending some. Yeah, whole bunch. A lot of old nostalgic wrestlers there. There was an appearance by the Four Horsemen, all except Ric Flair. I also found out our good friend Seth Turner from the International Wrestling Hall of Fame was there and announced that their Excelsior Award winner, who is going to be inducted later this year up in Albany at the Hall of Fame, is none other than Bill Apter.
Oh, nice.
So it was a nice little moment. They brought Bill up and told him that he was being it was funny. Bill was actually reading off the names of the inductees for this year. And the last one was, and he's like, I'm being inducted. And he goes, Bill Apter. Yes, the same award our good friend Dave LaGreca won is now being won, and Bill Apter will be inducted later on this year into the.
The question is, will Bill Apter be singing and dancing on the bar this time?
I hope so. I do hope so.
Oh, he was singing a lot today.
He was a one-man karaoke jam, keeping the folks entertained.
He loves his songs, man. He loves his.
But
yes.
Okay, we got important stuff to talk about.
Yeah. So let's start here. Like, I was looking forward to Backlash just based on the stories that they had been presenting. I was not ready for what we got today. And first and foremost, we have to give so much credit to that crowd. I've never seen.
Shout out to the French for showing up.
Holy crap. It was so a couple things. Triple H said it in the presser, and I think they said it on the broadcast too, that the government gave them an alert saying that it was too loud and that it was now reaching unhealthy levels of the decibels were too high.
Fuck you.
Oh, good.
And he has a message for you. Fuck off.
But that's crazy when you think about it. There was 11,000 people. It was a sellout, but I mean 11,000 people made it unhealthy to be in the room because of the sound. And Triple H is like, that's not us, that's the crowd. Nothing they can do.
Yeah. Right. What are they gonna do? Tell the crowd to shut up? Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, I've seen those. You've seen the French, man. Yeah. They're not above taking truckloads of manure and dropping it off at the steps of their local politicians. And they tell them to shut up.
Well, hey, well, first and foremost, how do you say shut up in French? I don't think anybody. I don't know. A baby. I don't know.
Fermez la bouche. Shut your mouth.
And may I bring up, if it wasn't for us, they'd all be speaking German anyway. So let them be loud in French. So.
Poor French. Hey, they gave us statue, man.
Yeah.
It was so loud. Triple H said that before the show even started, he couldn't hear the person sitting next to him in Gorilla.
That is something else.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well,
how do you tell the crowd to keep it down? So they're warning, like Triple H gets the memo.
Triple H gets the
memo. What's he supposed to do?
Yeah.
He said, he's like, I don't care. Just bring it in. It's fine.
I don't even speak the language. I don't know what to say.
Right.
Just go.
Right. Right.
The crowd was so crazy. I was watching. Not only did they chant and they have energy, they almost sang through 3 hours of paper, 4 hours with the pre-show. Yeah. They sang almost the entire time.
It almost sounded like a Premier League soccer game.
Yes. Yeah. For anyone who's familiar with European soccer, that's the norm. They sing and chant and dance throughout the entire thing, somehow always in unison. I don't get it, but that's straight across Europe. That's the norm.
They even chanted along with Samantha Irvin.
Yeah. And also you got to remember when was that? I mean, WWE goes to these places outside of the United States very rarely. I mean, it seems like a lot, but it's a lot of planning. So when they do that, I mean, those people in France were probably just starving for a big wrestling show. I mean, of course you have your independent wrestling all over the place, but that we're kind of spoiled here. I mean, we got it. I mean, look at us. We're at a show today. There's a show tonight. You could go here, there. We see all the independent wrestlers here. They're booked from Thursday through Sunday. But I mean, a big thing like WWE coming or even AEW going across the seas somewhere is gonna draw a hell of a lot more attention, and obviously more so with WWE. But it's wild. I'm excited to see what happens when AEW goes back to Wembley.
Yeah.
Well, they said sorry, go ahead, Dan.
It's very rare that the international crowd gets a chance to go to a big show. And even I saw, some of the people that I interact with on Twitter, they were happy just to have a show that they could watch in their normal time zone. Like they were happy to
Something-
have a show on at a reasonable hour, and we're very much spoiled with that. We're so used to it
Yeah.
being on at a normal hour during our evening routine.
Yeah.
And we're so used to just having so many shows that we can go to pretty much at any time. So yeah, to your point, Mongrovian, that they're going to draw a big crowd no matter what, just because the fans are so excited to see a big show. They're so excited to go to a big show because they just don't get to experience things like this very
all
often.
get this show worldwide. They get Raw. You know, they can watch all of these shows.
Yeah.
And they're dying for it to come. You know, they're dying for these people to come. I mean, look, remember last year with Puerto Rico?
Yeah,
Oh
tell
my
you,
God,
2 years in a row, Backlash has come off pretty friggin' big between the crowd last year in Puerto Rico and now France. I mean,
In spite of the IWC.
well, what are
And
they?
then
I don't know.
Paul that said he was not going to fucking watch it. Because it was,
Yeah, well, he missed a great show.
Yeah.
No. And you want to know what? That motherfucker watched it.
Of
Sure
course.
he
I'm
did.
sure.
You know he did.
And I'll be the first one to
Excuse
say I
my
wasn't
French, but
planning.
you know he watched it.
I wasn't planning on watching it, just because, we had plans for earlier this afternoon, and, I didn't think I'd be home by that time. And I was like, oh, we're going to come home. We're going to watch a movie. I wasn't too invested in the current stories as of now. Like, to me, it wasn't leading up to this afternoon. It wasn't must see. I was like, oh, I can skip it. I'll see what happens on social media. But we were home and we were watching a movie, and I just had it up on my laptop, just kind of playing in the background. And from what I saw, from the pieces that I saw, incredible, just absolutely incredible. And I'm glad I tuned in to see at least some of it.
Yeah, it was something special because even right from the very beginning, the opening match, we got such a massive surprise in that opening match. We've talked about obviously the bloodline growing. We've talked about Tama Tonga being there, the possibility of Jacob Fatu being signed and all that. In no world did any of us predict Tonga Loa showing up. I don't think. I was like, wait, what?
Who?
Yeah.
And Corey Graves and Michael Cole, I have to give them like Corey Graves talking about Tama Tonga's 7-time IWGP championship.
Yeah.
Like they talked about that, and they even hinted at the Gorillas of Destiny, which I thought was a really nice touch. Just a huge moment. So John, I know you're a massive New Japan guy, and it's funny because we were actually talking last night about Gorillas of Destiny and like what are they doing and what's going on right now,
and now we know. Yeah, absolutely. Now we know, and along with what John Bay just put into the chat, GOD. My only other thing is LFG. This is big. Gorillas of Destiny now in WWE. Didn't quite have that on my bingo card for 2024, but here it is, and it's happening. And we've talked, in the past and stuff about, your addition by subtraction. You have Roman taking time away from the bloodline and WWE in general, and now Jay hurt, Jay hurt, beaten up by Solo and Tama Tonga. Now you have these two, or John Loa in here as well. And we're in a different chapter. Absolutely, we're in a different chapter. We're in a different book now, folks. This is going to be. I have no idea where exactly they're going with this, but I like it, and I'm very interested to see. And again, just shows you, I always go back to when The Rock put up the big graphic of the Samoan dynasty, and that's, and those are all the known names, but there was a lot of people on that. And obviously this shows if there is opportunity for certain people to come in or be part of this and make sense, that absolutely Triple H is going to do it. And regardless of where they're at or what they happen to be doing. So out of everything that I briefly saw, of the. I'm going to sit and watch the entire pay-per-view tonight, but just the highlight, I that was the one that absolutely floored me. I was like, whoa, okay, this is something different.
Yeah, and it's funny because John Bay mentions in here about the Bloodline Civil War, and that's something that I think Andre had first brought it up to us a few months ago. He had his tinfoil on, and we were talking late night, and he's like, "What if they go down this path?" Well, it certainly looks like that's where they're headed. They're building
Right.
this super team of villains. The question is going to be down the road, what team of good guys is going to assemble, to face them. It's going to be a really interesting story, and something that was that I caught, I don't know for who saw the whole thing, but Jay was backstage getting ready for his match, and the whole bloodline walked by him one by one and gave him this dirty look. And then Paul Heyman hung for just a second and shook his head and walked away. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's those little things that they're doing.
Someone is still floating in the sea of obscurity after being summarily beaten off the island of relevancy.
So something else, everybody has to pay attention to this. If you haven't seen it, and maybe it's on socials, I don't know. Jay's entrance, the whole crowd did the Jey Uso thing, but they did it with the fireflies, and it was wow, like
that
goosebumps.
was amazing. It was really amazing, and we've talked about this before. I love how they shoot it in that 8K camera. And it just looks absolutely incredible when it focuses on the person. And then you just see kind of the whole crowd behind them. That was incredible the way that looked. And it is on their socials already. So if you missed it, go check it out.
Yeah, it's so cool. I want to hit on a couple of things that were really impressive to me. The women's tag match. I was wondering, when we've been talking about like what's Jade going to look like when she gets into a match when she's just not playing the hits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have our answer. She's been learning. And the ending sequence to the match was a display of power unlike anything I've seen in a minute. It was wild. She was throwing people around, and the power, the tag team combinations that they did, I would only expect from a team that's been together forever. But Bianca and Jade just automatically clicked. And I was really, really glad to see Jade show up and show out and let people know, no, I've been working on this shit a minute. Like, I'm getting good at this. And she's going to get good. And something else that I really paid attention to was she always held the tag ropes. And that is a little thing that you always really talk about, like in a tag match, especially for someone like her who isn't traditionally a tag team wrestler.
Right.
It was a strong tag match. So I don't know who here has seen that match, but it was amazing.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of it. It's definitely obvious that she's put some work in to get some training under her belt, and she's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, for sure. And just to follow that up with the press conference afterwards was her and Bianca. It was really cool to see. Jade was extremely happy. Like, I know you go, of course she's happy. She's making a lot of money doing her thing. But sitting there with Bianca, and she kept giving respect to Bianca and talking about the representation and how this is just the norm now. Women having these killer matches and the titles and all the things that are coming with it. Like, and Bianca said they had to fight for that, but like, this is the norm now. This is just where we are. And now it's our job to take it to the next level. It was a cool moment to see them talking and representing. And Bianca did a selfie with their backs to the journalists, and look at her socials. You'll see it. And all the journalists are making, it was cool. It's a cool moment.
Okay. All right. I'll check that out.
Just two things I wanted to mention about that match was really cool. They Jade was doing stinger splashes in the corner, and they called them stinger splashes, which I love.
Okay.
She did do an AA. They didn't call it an AA, but it is evident when you throw somebody around in that position how freaking strong you are. It was outrageous. So anyway, I thought that was a really cool match. The main event match was a definitive statement of why Cody's a champion. He's in there with AJ Styles. He's in there with one of the best guys to ever do it, right? So he has to bring a new level of technical wrestling, mat wrestling, physicality. AJ has this big hybrid style.
Mhm.
And I often see AJ kind of have to wrestle down to some people.
Right.
That was not the case here. Not at all. And it's like a 27-minute match. It's a long match.
Yeah.
There's no downtime. So
No.
it was very cool.
I really enjoyed it, and give props to AJ Styles because he's looking phenomenal.
Not
My
bad.
God.
Not bad for a 47-year-old or soon to be 47-year-old man.
He's
Right.
Old. He's old. That old guy's cooking though.
Apparently.
It was amazing. Both of their entrances were so cool. I loved on commentary during AJ Styles entrance. They referenced his gear that he had specially made to replicate the gear that he was wearing when he beat Dusty Rhodes for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And I didn't know the history there. So I thought that was so cool to call back to that and make reference to that.
Yeah, I think Cody had mentioned something about that recently on one of his promos as well.
Okay. I probably wasn't paying attention.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because they've started to talk more and more about the NWA. And, if you've ever been around the NWA, the Modern Lightning One era, there's not a lot of love between the companies, or there wasn't with the previous administration. I have a feeling, if I'm reading the tea leaves, that you're going to see we might see some sort of interaction because they've been mentioning NWA. They talked about, Nick and Adam being former champions, R-Truth and, and AJ and all these people that have been there, done that in the NWA. It's an interesting crossover. So we'll see. I do like the references to the history, though.
Yeah.
The other match, well, there's two other matches. I didn't actually get to see the Damian Priest Jey Uso match. I was pressed for time. I was trying to catch up on everything before the show tonight. However, the triple threat I thought was really interesting because Tiffany's sort of coming in as the much newer person in the match, and the match was clearly designed to help her look good. But I don't think she needed all that much help. I don't know if you watched that match, but Tiffany's shining every opportunity they give her.
I saw it. I saw some of it. And yes, she definitely is holding her own against much more experienced wrestlers.
Yeah. So it's cool. If you were going to skip this pay-per-view, don't. It was really cool. It's only 5 matches. It's very digestible. They didn't try to rush anything. It was just well-paced and just a fun show. I kind of like the afternoon shows once in a while.
It is nice.
Especially today, it was pouring here. So it was a rainy day.
Those of us on the East Coast were kind of rained out on everything else today. But and real briefly, when I was driving up to meet with Elder today, I was listening to Busted Open on my ride up with Denise and
Lundgren,
Robin Lundberg. Whatever, butcher his name, it doesn't matter. He's on Mad Dog anyway, screw him.
Todd Rundgren.
Dolph Lundgren was on?
Yes, he was. Yes, and something about breaking him, or I wasn't paying attention to that part. But they had said, and it made sense because Denise is out on the West Coast. If she was like, I can sit, have coffee and, eat my breakfast while watching a live pay-per-view, and again, like you alluded to at the beginning of the show, Deb, we're so used to, 8 o'clock on a weekend night, it's your plan for the night. But now this is, depending on where you are, you could watch the pay-per-view and then proceed about the rest of your day.
Right.
So I don't mind it. And I mean, and it's like none of it. I know I didn't. I can't tell if anybody else did. I know I do know a few people that did. None of us got up at like 4 a.m. to watch Australia. That just didn't happen. That wasn't on the Saturday. No. So, but and again, this is you would think, oh well, God, it's on the middle of the afternoon of Saturday. Who watches it? I'm curious to see the numbers because I'll bet you a lot of people. I bet even in the U.S. it was a lot of people.
Well, there was so
Yeah.
much buzz on social media about the stuff that was going on. Like to Deb's point, I was maybe going to skip it, and then I started getting texts, and I'm like, oh my god, I've got to watch this. I've got to
Right.
find out about this. Obviously, the Tongaloa stuff, but like all the other moments and that thing, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't miss this. And in fact, I'll
Right.
probably go back and watch the other matches I didn't get a chance to see.
Yeah.
And our boy Sammy Brand Muffin's doing the pre-show from the Not Sam studio. With all the French
Yes.
bread and everything.
Nice.
It's so funny. Oh my god.
I saw the quick tweet he posted way earlier in the morning, setting up, and then it was the studio. I'm like, oh, somebody gets to work from home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he Raw Talk this week from the home studio as well.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Bump. No, I think he did the Bump in person. Anyway, but they've been doing more stuff there.
Oh, okay.
I think a lot of it
Good.
might have
Yeah.
to do with the expansion of his family and his limited time, I would think.
Well,
It's got a beautiful studio. Why not use it?
yeah.
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 It wasn't cheap, I'm sure. Okay, so let's move on. AEW had a big week too. I feel like a better week this week.
Yes.
Certainly from a programming perspective. It was pretty great Dynamite.
Yeah.
Wasn't bad. 3 hours, because again they have hockey and basketball playoffs going on TBS and TNT, so they crammed it all on the one Wednesday night. There's no Collision tonight. There was no Rampage last night. And I guess I wasn't. I mean, I understand cards subject to change and programming and stuff, but I wasn't that. And they had a hell of an overlay from Dynamite into Rampage that I'm sure we're going to talk about, but that didn't feel like, oh my god, I'm watching 3 hours of AEW. Unlike when not that long ago in the dark ages where we were like, oh my god, Raw's 3 hours, I'll never make it. So it didn't feel like it didn't have that feel. And like I said, they had a hell of a crossover between the two with the return of Kenny Omega. So I wasn't mad at it. I don't know if they're going to do that all the time, but for 1 week it was not bad.
Yeah, exactly. That's my personal feelings kind of as well. For me personally, if it's a 3-hour show, if it's a good 3 hours, I can make it through it. And it doesn't feel like you're, oh my God, I'm watching one show for 3 hours. Raw these days has been pretty good for the most part, so it doesn't feel like it's dragging. Whereas there was a time, if you guys remember, not that long ago, where we were like, "Oh my god, it's only 9 o'clock. We got 2 more hours."
I'm not going to make this. I'm not. I got to punch out. I cannot do it.
Only
yeah,
9:15.
If it's a good show, if it's action packed and they keep you interested and they keep it moving along, it doesn't feel that bad. And like you said, if it's a once in a while thing, I'm kind of okay with it. I think every week would be much more of a drag, but a once in a while thing, makes it feel more of a spectacle. I'm okay with it.
Sure.
Well, and to John's point too, they did such a wonderful job bleeding into the next show. You didn't feel like there was a hard stop and a reset. It was just a nice story. Storytelling just flowed a lot nicer.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Real quick before we really get into it, I see we got a lot of viewers on Twitter right now. So anybody who's watching on Twitter right now, if you go to our YouTube, you can join the live chat in our YouTube and make sure you subscribe.
Or at the very least, throw up the hashtag Nation's Corner and let us know that you're listening.
Yeah.
So we can try to include you guys somehow when technology allows us and we figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Dare to dream.
Have a dream, hold on to it, shoot for the stars.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna hit on this next, and it's the Kenny Omega stuff was really, really good. And they were talking about I've heard, I think it was Denise talk about it maybe, or it might have been Thunder, I forget, but just Kenny speaking from the heart. And he's not historically been the best promo. He's obviously one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet, but he doesn't really cut, the ones that you would expect from somebody at that level. However, this was not the same promo. Like this was I'm really sick and I almost died for real.
This was real shit. This was real talk.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I think we didn't really know what to expect seeing Kenny. Like, I think everybody knew he, wasn't healthy enough to make an actual return yet. But I think the way that they inserted it into the storyline and kind of made it make sense was very, very well done.
Well, that's the question I have. Like, he was out with a back injury originally, right? And then it took time for him to come back, and during that time, the diverticulitis came up. So now he's looking at being out for an extended period of time,
Right.
whether he has surgery or whatever that treatment looks like. It was a good vehicle to get him off of TV, but also use that to get a lot of heat on the bad guys.
Yes, exactly.
absolutely.
And boy, that gurney spot.
Jeez.
Oof.
If Kenny came with a dog, they probably would have kicked that too.
We know he's a dog guy.
Nicholas and Matthew are assholes, and I'm all here for it. They are. They have finally come about and admitted to what we've already done. They are assholes. And that little snot-nosed Jack Perry ain't much better. I don't care how much hair he has on his face. That kid's a punk, and that's exactly what they want us to be. And I am all in on it. Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mike, I want to ask you, because 2 weeks ago we were going, why the hell did they show this footage, and what did they do with Jack Perry? And this doesn't make any sense. Now it all makes sense. And Jack Perry's one of the most interesting, hated guys on the show. Like, it's whether they pivoted or I don't care. What we're getting is a good use of what we've seen.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember saying.
He was wearing whether it was Matt or the other schmuck. They were Nicholas. One of them was wearing the scapegoat shirt too. So that was a little thing there. The only thing with the tape was why do you got to show Punk? But all right, we got past it. We survived.
Yeah, it served its purpose, and that's really the kind of the sticking point. Is it served the purpose? I remember saying, like, when it was announced that they were going to show the footage, and we had no idea, like, what context will this be shown? Like, what are they setting up for? Like, we didn't know what the end goal was. Like, what's the purpose of this? And I remember saying that the only way that it's going to make sense is if it's used to make Jack Perry look like more of an asshole.
Yes.
And that's what it's done. That's exactly what it's done. And I think they're getting a lot of fans back on board. And for me personally, I think it's absolutely hilarious that it just feels like no matter what happens, no matter what they do, everybody's going to be talking about it. Good, bad, fans, haters, everybody's going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
I also think it's really smart because last week when Tony Khan got beat up, the Elite were getting cheered. They were getting a hero's welcome. This week, oh, okay, you're gonna mess with our Kenny Omega. We're not cool with that. Now we're not cool with that. Now
you sir have crossed the line.
So it's really smart.
Exactly.
Right. But and again,
I would like to see more stuff on social media too. Sorry, John.
And no, just to piggyback real quick, how long have we been here? Week after week, and when we sit in during the week on Zoom and stuff, saying, man, if AEW could, just give us something a little bit more. And yes, we have been seeing it. Timeless Tony Storm is absolutely her own planet in orbit right now with anybody she brings into it. Now we have all this with the Bucks going on. AEW is, and as much as I still have issue with Tony Khan over certain things, they're making honest attempts to build stories, especially in between the pay-per-views.
Think Candle's going to make a pussy-scented candle in honor of Tony?
God, I hope so.
Let's hope.
If somebody doesn't, and that doesn't show up on shopaew.com, they are really missing out. But, again,
I don't even want to know how that will be made.
Well, we would kind of have to defer to you. You're a girl. You're a girl. We're just guys. We spent 9 months getting out of one and the rest of our lives trying to get back in one. And that's about all we know.
Anywho,
Oh, we're off the rails.
but there are a couple of things going on over there that we're starting to go, okay, I see where you're going. Like you said, Toni Storm's been a draw for a minute now. She's been, in my opinion, even now, the best thing on the show.
Absolutely.
In the press conference, on social media, on the show, she has it
Bosom.
completely dialed in.
Bosom.
Oh.
Bosom.
Yeah, I'm very, very much invested. There's a lot of other stuff that I'm like, maybe you could get there. I'm a little confused about the introduction of FTR into the storyline.
Well, FTR has a long-standing rivalry with the Bucks, so I think that's just really where it comes in.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing to remember for a lot of people is to just have a little patience with things. You know, we always talk about how we want more long-term storytelling. So just, you know, we said this with WWE, just give it time, see where it goes, enjoy the ride. And a lot of things are just kind of a wait and see. Where is this going? What are they doing with this? For both AEW and WWE.
I think the secret for both too, like when Triple H took over for creative, he shuffled the deck with the creative team. He has some pretty legendary folks behind the scenes. And I know we've heard publicly that Tony Khan has hired some new writers and they have a new producer over there. Mike Mansouri has publicly been running stuff over there since the fall and doing a phenomenal job with the show flow and all that stuff. It changed dramatically in like the October-November timeframe. So definitely improvements. Just like don't do stupid shit that detracts from the work that they're doing on TV. That's my big complaint. Just let them let the talent be talented.
Yeah, that's definitely a big
stay off Twitter.
Fix the Ring of Honor 6-man.
You know, like we've talked about before, use the social media to your advantage. Not as, you know, necessarily just a means of venting your frustrations. Use it to your advantage.
Here's a perfect example. Triple H rarely goes on Twitter to do anything personal. It's always just his account tweeting stuff to promote. Yeah. This week, the mayor of London was up for election and won today, his re-election bid. And he said on Twitter, if I win re-election, I will try to bring WrestleMania to London. And Triple H quote tweeted and said, we should talk. Just simple. But boy, did a lot of people pay attention to that.
Right.
Very effective. 3 words.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, us wrestling fans we're all geeks and losers because we sit and watch fake wrestling and stuff. We got somebody elected mayor of one of the biggest cities in the world.
I didn't vote. I don't live there. So I don't know how that all works.
I would love to love to know.
I mailed mine in.
Oh. Sarah, you're not even a citizen of that country.
You're barely a citizen of this one.
Exactly.
We're not gonna talk.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Mustafa, you see this, baby? You there? Where is he?
Too soon.
Oh God, you're too much.
Okay.
I told Toto the other today. I said Mustafa's gonna hate me for this.
Anything else at AEW?
I just got one quick thing. This whole Chris Jericho learning tree. I know it's Jericho. Eventually, it's going to be winning. I know it's going to be good. I'm not sure how or why yet, and I'm interested. John Bay, reading my mind, get out of my head. Him and Big Bill, with now Big Bill, which I'm glad to see cast up on any television screen. They always thought the guy's phenomenal, and especially dealing with what he has dealt with. I mean, besides he's 7 foot tall.
Can I ask you something? Does that FTW friggin' belt mean anything to anybody unless it was over or around the waist of Taz 20 years ago?
No, because it's not an actual title.
It means less to me than the freaking 24/7 belt.
I am not going to go into a rant. I am not going to go into like I did last week. All I'm going to say is,
by all means.
I may or may not have kicked the hornet's nest a little bit on our Discord earlier this week, but in the words of Paul Heyman, I am not here to educate you. Google it, bitches. There is a 20-year history of the FTW Championship and what it was established for, and why Taz brought the belt out, and why Taz and Paul Heyman decided to run with it the way they have. That is not what you're seeing the FTW title being portrayed as on AEW right now.
It's not.
It just isn't. I'm not mad at the story and everything about it, but it's again, wrestling fans supposedly have short memories. Nobody remembers 20 years ago what ECW did. Absolutely, we effing remember.
They chanted ECW in France today.
The only place in the world, like Paul. Again,
when they brought the
Paul
tables
Heyman
out, they chanted ECW.
Like Paul Heyman said, fans all over the world, in any company, any arena, anywhere, you will still hear those three letters. But what you're seeing now with the FTW Championship, like I said, I'm not mad at it. Disappointed probably would be the best thing. And they absolutely have a way to right the ship, because if you've noticed as of late, now granted, we all know Taz cannot do any physicality whatsoever.
Yeah.
He just can't. However, you notice Taz has gotten a bit more snippy and a bit old Red Hook coming out in him lately on commentary, to where, both Excalibur and I guess Shivani, when he's on, are saying, Taz, hey, I ain't stopping nothing. And trying to tell Taz no is really not a wise idea, whether he can be physical or not. But I'm liking that part. I'm not quite sold on what's going on in ring. But if you're getting a heated up Taz on commentary, now we got something. Now, and we're used to, Taz is the wisecracker. He's the, look, right in the old Yambag Jones. But, now a pissed off Taz, nobody has seen a pissed off Taz since ECW. Like, a real,
watch out.
The mean, miserable, most miserable bastard on the face of the earth. Nobody has seen that yet. So if they are leaning into that and going that way, look out, folks. It's gonna be good. But
So John, what if Taz decides to step away from commentary for a bit and build his own wrecking crew?
I'll be all for it. The whole thing, the original genesis of Team Taz, which they briefly brought back in the beginning of AEW, was Team Taz used to be just Taz with a bunch of just extras coming out to the ring with him in ECW, and then slowly, as he was unfortunately getting more and more injured with his neck and wasn't able to compete as much, they brought along the Chris Chettys, the Tony Mamalukes into quote unquote Team Taz, and that's kind of what they were doing before Taz left ECW altogether. Now they have an opportunity absolutely to do that, where yes, Taz, think of it as a super badass version of the Four Horsemen with Taz as JJ Dillon. And like I said, a pissed off Taz where, he just, I'm waiting for the one time that they show him on camera and he comes out wearing the black towel over his head, and then it's game on, and everybody just better run when that happens.
I would love to see Taz standing under a streetlight on the corner of Swanson and Rittner, having a powwow with a bunch of people, having a conversation with some folks.
That could be interesting.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. And that's essentially what I think this whole thing with the FTW championship is. It's a tool to set up for something else.
Mm.
I think that's what it's about. It's you know, I heard so many people saying like, oh, why was Jericho going up against Hook already? Why finish it already? The story wasn't being finished with the match with Jericho and Hook. That was just the beginning. And again, that kind of goes back to, I think some people just don't have the patience. Like, this is setting up towards something else. It definitely is. This is only the beginning. And like you said, John, right, when you started your point, is with Jericho, we know it'll be good. I think it's just the getting there that we're kind of like, all right, where is this going? You know?
You can't argue Chris Jericho's track record. Literally everything he has touched ever has absolutely. It might not have been overnight, but almost always has turned to gold. There's no clinkers in Chris Jericho's resume.
Right.
And we also know that they have history in WWE. Like Chris Jericho was a big proponent of End Zone Cast behind the scenes. Would go to NXT and there was some coaching going on. We've heard some stories, some rumblings about that. So I think they even referenced that last week when Jericho and Big Bill were backstage talking.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's interesting to bring that stuff all in. I like that they bring that history and they don't have to say anything by name. Just let people know, okay, there's a history here and you can go Google it and find out. But I do think that's interesting. For me, I don't have the history with ECW that you do, but for me, like I've been a fan of Taz a long time. The FTW championship should be on the shoulder of someone who doesn't follow the rules, who may or may not have murdered somebody earlier in the day. I mean, it has to be like I thought Eddie Kingston was the perfect representation from the guys that are on the roster now. Like he's just unhinged. He's like, you don't know what's going to happen with that guy. And, you know, I thought he was the guy that they should have run with to reintroduce that into the lexicon of AEW. But now it's just another title.
That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to end on a note because like I didn't get a chance to watch TNA this week, but I know you guys watched. They continue to put on incredible shows.
Absolutely.
Pay-per-views, weekly programming, extremely affordable. Like, you know, I paid
$10 for Under Siege last night. $10 if you went through Triller TV. That's now if you didn't have it on, you know, or unless you already subscribed to the app, it's included. But $10 for easily a $40 worth pay-per-view.
It's only $1 a week for the TV show, and you guys talked me into it a couple months ago, and I've been watching every week. Like it's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
It still has an indie feel to it. However, the content's really good.
Absolutely.
And they still have one of the best women's divisions, and the way they're presented. I mean, we found out this week that Jordan Grace, her action figures are outselling the men's by 4 times. Like that tells you what they're. She's the face of the company, as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
Yeah. And we still have to look forward to the comeback of the mother effing King, whose birthday it is today. So happy birthday, Kylan King.
Happy birthday, King.
Happy birthday, King.
Happy birthday.
But we look forward to her comeback after she's done rehabbing her knee. And that's just going to make that women's division even better. Oh my God.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. And lest we forget, we have new TNA Knockouts tag team champions coming out of Under Siege last night. And a match, to me, it seemed thrown together and in already very credible champions in Jody Threat and Danny Luna. Spitfire lost to the team of Alicia Edwards from the System, and the hired gun won Masha Slamovich, who is no stranger to TNA Gold in general, and especially Knockouts Tag Team Gold. But though they are your new champions. So now literally every member of the System, Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and now Alicia, all have gold.
And Alicia's been around a minute, but I think this is her first title, right?
I
think I saw on Twitter that this was her first title.
Yeah. I know she has never been Knockouts champion.
No.
There may have been a Knockouts tag team along the way, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I normally don't, but I'll defer to Twitter saying if they're saying this is her first one, then great for her. But that's crazy to think. When was the last time we outside of the Bloodline? When was the last time we saw a faction anywhere in wrestling that had all the gold? And recent anyway. And here's the system now. And a very fun match also. Just keep speaking of champions. You had the team of Jordan Grace, the Knockouts champion, and one of my favorite wrestlers, because he's absolutely out of his mind, and I hope to live as old as he does. Of course, I'm talking about the French Canadian Frankenstein, PCO, against Khan, who was Connor in the Ascension in WWE, who's now made a very, pardon the pun, big splash in TNA since he debuted over there. And the newest member of TNA, one Steph DeLander. Yeah, that's Steph DeLander, as in Matt Cardona's sidekick, Steph DeLander. And a very entertaining match. And I knew it was going to be entertaining from the very second. Now, if you're familiar with PCO and how he makes his entrance, it's always the guys in the hospital gowns wheeling him out on the gurney, and they come. It used to be Destro would bring him out in the thing, but you have the jumper cables. And usually it's one of the attendants that put the jumper cables on him and zap him. He's alive. Jordan Grace stepped up, being the partner. Jordan Grace was the one who put the jumper cables to him, and that was all I needed to see. He popped up, looked at her. She did like PCO's not even paying attention. Jordan gives him the little back and forth fist pump thing, and then they go to the ring and start. I was like, "This is
fantastic."
He was just there. She just
and
it was great.
And again, they had a very entertaining match, and I won't give too much away from it. Just if people haven't seen it, I
happily suspend disbelief with PCO, because the guy is just, because it doesn't matter, because what he does, he's like killing himself anyway. It's like you're like, no, you can't use the F word with him, because it's his 4-year-old body.
Older than that, I believe. Older than that, he is not human. He is not human.
Taking a full body slam on the side of the steel steps, or, it's like, it's always like he has to go like one step more.
Yeah.
And God bless.
And lest we not forget, the latest rising sensation in the charts, Joe Hendry,
number 6, got a number 6 chant, because he is number 6 in the
great interview on Busted Open.
On Joe Hendry, you are missing out on just one of the most fun things happening in pro wrestling right now. Just pure fun.
And I will say this spoiler: if you don't watch anything else from Under Siege, please watch Joe Hendry acoustically change the words to "Higher" by Creed and sing a song to AJ Francis.
Yes.
That alone,
so good.
That alone was worth $10 last night.
Yes.
Easily.
Absolutely.
But again,
can you please get fired?
But just to hear him on acoustic, no less, actually him playing, and it was fantastic. And also, real quick, while we're talking TNA, shout out to our good friend Chad in Albany, who is at the TNA Impact tapings
tonight
off of the Under Siege pay-per-view last night in Albany, New York. Him and his lovely wife Danielle are attending. And
Joe Hendry, he's going to soil himself.
It's going to be very messy.
It's very embarrassing. Poor
Danielle. She's not going to. She probably isn't going to enjoy that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, but again.
If you're not watching TNA, you're just missing out on one of the best
shows.
Wrong.
You're
Absolutely phenomenal matches, entertaining segments, great characters. It's just a good show. It's just
even their pay-per-views. Even if you don't, their pay-per-views go from 20 to 40. They're not insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have these smaller Friday pay-per-views that are attached to tapings, and then they have their big four pay-per-views that are the $40. But yeah, it's pretty reasonable, considering how much we all spend for other streaming services.
Right.
Well, I also like that the weekly programming, because I do the YouTube subscription thing.
Yes,
It's 90 minutes. It's 8:30 to 10.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
easy.
because you don't
It's
get
very easy.
commercials.
Right.
Nope.
It's
No.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we're wrapping up, I wanted to circle back to one thing, WWE, and I forgot to mention it. The QR code thing has been incredible. It's been so much fun. We've been up late at night breaking down. In fact, the reason
we
I
had
mentioned is
tinfoil moments this week.
the reason I mentioned is Andre just texted me to remind me to mention that there was a QR code today.
Yes.
Okay.
And evidently it's a phone number. It works
Okay.
out
I don't
to
know.
a
I'll have
phone.
to go check it.
I saw
check it out.
I saw some stuff saying that if you go on the QR code, it's some sort of a voicemail phone number with a message. I didn't get a chance to do it all, but that's what I read.
Well, we sat literally in frame by frame, broke down the last video, and it was really fun to do.
We did. Yeah.
No.
So there's that.
Like we don't have enough to talk about with WWE. Right. Here is this what we're all staring down the barrel of. That man. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's just go. This is going to be something fantastic.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Before we wrap up, one little last thing. I have to mention this. I know there was a GCW show last night. Some of you may have been watching it. Yes. I woke up this morning to find out that Debhausen had won the GCW championship, and then Cardona promptly screwed him over and took it away. So I love you, Matt Cardona, but I'm mad at you right now.
No, I'll say it. Fuck Matt Cardona. I hope your other peck gets blown out and you have another vagina scar on your other shoulder. How's that? How's that, Cardona? How dare you screw Debhausen? How dare you?
Yeah, I had to wake up this morning, and that's the first thing I see when I click on Twitter. Is Debhausen won? Oh no, he didn't.
No. And truth be told, Missy Hyatt is one of my original wrestling crushes. I had her posters on my wall. She is the walking riot. But screw her too in her loaded Gucci bag. And absolutely,
don't lie, you had those posters on your ceiling.
Where I put them is not important. They were hung. That's all that matters. Where is not important. Semantics. But fuck Blake Christian. God, I hope someone in GCW finally steps up. And now he's like, and of course he was on his social media today. He's about to go compete in the Super Juniors with New Japan next week or the week after. And of course now he's saying, I'm taking this to Japan, and it's a picture of him with the GCW title. I fucking hate that guy.
And you know how I know that Blake Christian is evil? Because that little heart logo that he uses during his entrance, same exact heart as the CVS logo. Same.
Oh well.
Same.
Well, that
evil.
Kind of makes sense.
Evil.
Kind of makes sense, especially
no extra
now
care for him.
No, none. He's the one responsible for the 8 miles of receipts. That's what it is.
Maybe. That's evil all by itself.
All right, yeah. So fuck Matt Cardona, fuck Blake Christian for screwing over Debhausen, and
agreed.
But real quick on that, just and this is the whole thing. We literally watched Debhausen for 2 years now on AEW TV. Wrestle one match all the time he's been on TV, maybe one, and that wasn't,
I think he was part of some like 6-man tag or 8-man tags early on, but it was minimal. Yeah.
Brian Christian and Debhausen went 15, 17 minutes last night. Remember, folks, Debhausen can wrestle.
Put him on TV.
I saw him wrestle in 2019 in Ring of Honor. I was at the show. It was the first time we met him. He can wrestle.
Him and Ethan Page, damn it.
Karate Man coming back to TNA. Mark my word. Mark this down right now. We will see the return of Karate Man.
I doubt we'll ever see Karate Man again.
He's going to be waving like he waved goodbye when he left. He is coming back to TNA. Mark my words. Karate Man.
I very much doubt that we'll see Karate Man. We might see Ethan Page. I think Karate Man is is dead and
I
gone.
still hold to that. Like I'm gonna
Except for I believe Ethan Page will be coming out with a comic book that may or may not have Karate Man
in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
Anyway, just like I hold on to hope that Sami Zayn's going to pull the red mask out of his pocket.
That would be amazing. Just once.
Just one. Doesn't even I have to put it on. Just reference it.
If they ever revive Southpaw Regional Wrestling, that's where he should.
That's where they should be. Just get some random stock footage of an orphanage in Mexico, and away we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. Really fun show as always. No real wrestling to get to. I'm sure there's something on, but the big shows aren't on tonight.
Well,
there's always something on.
GCW.
They just had a show last night. How can they have a show
there's
tonight?
one every day.
Every week, but actually, no, they do not have one.
Pay-per-views a month,
right?
You know that.
No, they did have one last night. They were in Tampa. Tomorrow, they are right here in beautiful New Jersey, actually North Jersey, up at the Ukraine Center, Cultural Center in Jersey City. They are doing a special Cinco de Mayo Lucha Libre show.
I want to Joey Janela light his foot on fire again. That's what
we can only hope. Please let it happen.
Yeah, I mean,
like Asbury Park doesn't have a bad enough name, and here comes Joey Janela. Anyway,
I don't root for anyone to get injured, but I do root for people to be extra stiff with Joey Janela. Just for some reason, I don't know. He just annoys me, but that's just me.
He's hateable.
He is very hateable. But yeah, so GCW
he's
on
more
tomorrow.
Annoying than hateable.
It's free on Fight Plus if you subscribe. So I know what I'm doing tomorrow afternoon.
Right.
Perfect.
Well, I'm gonna
All right, Deb. Where can everybody find you on the socials?
I'm at the Twitter machine and the Instagram at That's So Debonair. And may the 4th be with you. And then tomorrow, Revenge of the 5th.
Nice, John.
Oh boy.
You can find me. I don't do the finger thing Deb does. At Twisted Metal Fab on the Instagram and the Twitter, and also, as always, follow the exploits of the most dangerous weapon in professional wrestling. Of course, I'm referring to the Ass Kicker 9000. You can follow AK and all of his exploits on the Instagram at Ass Kicker 9000. And I don't know if she's still here or not. She was earlier. Best wishes to my daughter Brooke, her mom, and her stepdad. They are about to take an amazing cruise to Alaska.
Nice.
I hope she doesn't freeze to death. No, dear, you cannot bring a polar bear or a seal home. They're not pets. They're wild animals out there.
They're so cute.
No, we went through this. I don't want to go long. We went through this at ECW with an adorable puppy. I am not hearing that. Dad, I want to bring home a penguin. I'm not hearing that phone call. I will hang up.
Want a baby seal for your dad. He wants a baby seal pelt.
Well, no, and I definitely don't want a polar bear because they live in Florida, so it's warm there. So if she gets a polar bear, oh, you have to take it because it's a colder climate where you live in Jersey. No, we're not having that conversation. It's just not happening. But I love you, dear. Have a great time. I will see you when you get home.
Well, if they bring it to Florida, isn't it just a bear?
It's
no longer a polar bear.
I picture something like Olaf from Frozen. Like he always wanted to go to the sunshine and come out and it's just a puddle of water and some fur. But I don't know.
Fair enough. Elder, what about you?
Oh boy! First of all, it's a Mongrovian Mike. You can find me everywhere on the socials with that name. Second of all, I just want to wish my daughter a happy 35th birthday. Yesterday she turned 35. So 35 years drive me crazy, and now she's about 7 weeks out from having her baby, my grandbaby.
Yay.
Hopefully he's going to drive her as crazy as she drove me all these years. And me and Jackie are just so excited, and I'm withering away to nothing. And I want to point out, in case I didn't, Mustafa, check out that. I wish you were online. You're always online all the time. Now I have the pink robe. You're not here, but I'm still talking shit about you, bro. I want to thank Toto with Tom and Tommy Fierro. They put on a great thing there, the 80s WrestleCon. Yeah, go meet these people. I mean, me and John met a lot of them already before, but you know what? John, they're all getting old, right? I mean,
yeah, we are. Everybody is.
Father
Time is undefeated.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
meet these guys, and congratulations to Bill Apter for going into class class of 24.
Yes.
The
We love
class
Bill
of
Apter.
25, I believe, right? No,
No,
20.
24. Yeah, that's later
24.
this year, so 24.
Yes.
Yeah.
And joins fellow Excelsior Award winner, like I
Yeah.
said, our friend Dave LaGreca. So
That's right. That's right. And shout
Good
out
company.
to Mike Raimondi, the Dusty Rhodes cosplayer, and the Macho Verse, and the Iron Sheik. They were collecting stuff, man. Go on their page and donate. They're collecting for one of the people that their kid is sick. And they're just doing collections for them. They did the cosplay. They did a great job today.
Okay.
It's just a really good thing. It's a cool thing to do, man. Just a lot of great people out there at the convention, and I didn't get one cross-eyed look from wearing the pink robe all day. That's the kind of
quite
crowd
the opposite. You got a lot of compliments.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to Mike Johnson and Vlad. Got to hang out.
Superfan Vlad was there.
Yeah, we were just hanging out for a while, talking with Mike Johnson and Vlad. He wanted to know where I worked, what I do for a living, because I'm walking around like a sick mafioso guy or robe. I should have been chewing on a cigar or something.
You thought you were Sammy the Bull.
Mumbling to myself. Yeah, Joey Chin. That's it. That's who it was. Joey
Oh
the
my
Chin.
God.
Yeah, Mike the Chin.
All right.
All right. Well, you can find me at PW Front Row across all the socials. It's funny you're talking about the cruise. I am drinking from a Royal Caribbean mug tonight. One of the many cups we brought back from our cruises. I want to give a birthday shout out to our good friend of the show, Izzy Marino. Had her 17th birthday on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Stu's older than that. I need new shoes.
Oh my God. I mean, we met Izzy in 2015 and she's taller than me now, which is
in 10 years from now, she's going to be running this wrestling world.
Yeah, probably.
Yes,
no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
All right. You can follow us at Nation's Corner on X, all other platforms at The Nation's Corner. Folks, thanks for joining us on a Saturday. We're going to see y'all next week. Have a great week. Later.